Welcome back to DFC Books.
And welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, you are joining us for an exploration that is, well, truly unique, even by our standards.
Yeah, we are strapping in for something pretty special.
We really are. It's the epic, sprawling, and profoundly surreal journey through H.P. Lovecraft's longest dream-related work, The Dream Quest of Unknown Kadath.
Right, and our mission today is, well, highly specific. It's driven by the really meticulous structure of the sources we've got, especially those chapter breakdowns from the I.N.J. Colbert adaptation.
Which are fantastic, by the way. Great visuals.
Absolutely. So we are going to track Randolph Carter's travels in, forensic detail. We need to analyze the core themes, break down the crucial and often very bizarre characters he runs into, and most importantly, extract that single most vital, game-changing event that pushes him forward in each distinct stage of this, well, frankly, extraordinary adventure.
It's kind of a shortcut, really, to understanding this dense, almost hallucinatory masterpiece. Now, it's crucial, I think, to anchor this novel historically. Lovecraft wrote this mammoth piece between, 1926 and 1927.
Yeah, right in the middle of his most prolific period.
But what's fascinating is that it stayed unpublished until after his death in 1937.
Which is strange for such a major work.
It is, and the sources emphasize that because it wasn't, extensively revised or maybe tinkered with, it keeps this remarkable, loose, fluid nature of the dreams that it describes. It really does feel like a narrative dictated directly by subconscious logic.
That structural element is so key, isn't it? The writing actually mirrors the content, this chaotic, unpredictable path.
Really?
Along with the case of Charles Dexter Ward, our sources see Dream Quest as one of his really substantial works from that time. It's a synthesis, like you said.
It absolutely is. What makes Dream Quest such a fascinating text, I think, is how it successfully blends his trademark cosmic horror, that lurking fear of the boundless void.
That's the big, scary stuff.
Exactly. With elements of high fantasy. It's explicitly and very strongly influenced by the structure and tone of Lord Dunsany's work. You can really feel that.
Oh, yeah. Dunsany's fingerprints are all over it.
But Lovecraft filters that epic, often kind of romantic fantasy through his own specific lens of cosmological dread.
Which is such a Lovecraft thing to do.
Right. So it creates this epic tale that highlights these incredible leaps of imagination and logic, which truly is the very stuff of dreams. And look, while it might be set far away from somewhere like Arlia, it definitely features entities that tie firmly into the wider mythos universe.
Okay, let's unpack the motivation then, and the man right at the center of it all, Randolph Carter. He is an absolutely central, recurring character in Lovecraft's world, isn't he? Pops up in several key stories.
He does, and our sources point out that he is often seen as this kind of idealized version of Lovecraft himself. Thoughtful, educated, maybe a bit melancholy.
Definitely more comfortable in his own head and his reveries than in the harsh external world.
Precisely. And if you look at Carter's core identity within the Dreamlands, he plays this really fascinating dual role. He shifts constantly between being just a passive observer, simply witnessing the marvel.
Just watching it all unfold.
Yeah, and then becoming an active participant, actually shaping the narrative, making crucial, sometimes quite calculated decisions.
So he's not just drifting.
No, not at all. This dynamic is what defines the hero of this piece, really. He is essentially our highly introspective guide through all the chaos.
So why? Why does Carter risk literally everything to go on this monumental quest? It all comes down to the loss of the Marvel City, right?
That's the catalyst. He first dreamed of this incredible place, a city described as all golden and lovely, blazing fiercely in the sunset, just heavy with mystery.
Sounds amazing.
Doesn't it? He dreamed of it 3 times, and crucially, each time, just as he was pausing on this high terrace to gaze upon its final complete glory. Poof. Snatched away by some nameless entity.
Ah, the ultimate frustration.
Exactly. And this loss creates this obsessive, almost maddening need to seek out that once awesome and momentous place.
But it's deeper than just wanting to see a cool city again, isn't it?
Oh, much deeper. His motivation runs deeper than just like architectural curiosity. It's really an elegy for lost emotional states. He's desperate to piece together the coherent parts of dreams, mourning the loss of the wonder and pleasure of his first youth.
That feeling you can never quite get back.
Precisely. He explicitly notes how men, once they become adults, get dulled and prosaic with the poison of life, and their minds are spoiled by reason. Carter isn't just trying to find a building, he's trying to recover the deep, unreasoning emotional meaning of his youthful consciousness.
Which is a much bigger quest. And that brings us directly to Chapter 1, the decision and the initial warning. So Carter takes the first real decisive action of the whole novel here.
He does. He listens to advice given to him by an old acquaintance and decides to actively pray to the hidden gods of dream who dwell above unknown Kadath.
He doesn't just wish for it, he formally beseeches them. Big step.
Huge step. He asks them to reveal the location of his lost Sunset City. And this action is the definitive moment that transforms him from just a passive dreamer into an active quester, someone challenging the cosmic order.
And the payback is instant and terrifying.
Yep. Immediate repercussion. A mysterious voice responds right out of the darkness, stating plainly that the Great One's wish is, and I quote, not agreeable to them to be harassed by Carter's persistent mortal pleas.
Basically, bug off moral.
Pretty much. They are not to be disturbed by the mere whims of men.
And this is where the stakes just go through the roof, instantly. This voice doesn't just say no, it gives the cosmic context, the ultimate peril Carter's journey risks running into.
Exactly. The voice explicitly names the boundless demon sultan whose name no lips dare speak aloud, Azathoth.
Chills. Azathoth, the big one.
The biggest one. This is Lovecraftian cosmology at its absolute peak. The Lovecraft, for anyone listening who might not know, is essentially the blind idiot god, the absolute source of chaos at the center of the universe.
Not a friendly entity.
Not remotely. The source tells us this entity resides at the center of infinity, where no dreams reach. This core is attended by the incessant, maddening piping of flutes and the shocking final peril which blasphemes and bubbles outside the ordered universe.
So the warning Carter gets is basically a cosmological ultimatum.
It is. If he insists on reaching Kadath and disturbing the gods, he risks exposure to forces that are literally beyond human or even dream god comprehension. He risks eternal madness.
So the quest is immediately framed as find paradise or dissolve into utter chaos. No pressure.
Right. No middle ground there.
Okay, so he gets this massive warning. What does he do? He obviously doesn't stop.
Of course not. He's Randolph Carter. As he leaves the initial sort of familiar boundaries of the dreamlands and begins his true journey toward the unknown cold waste, we start to see the structure of this incredible parallel dimension unfold.
It's not just random dream stuff, is it?
No, it's a whole layered reality. A place layered with human lands, mythological cities, strange creatures, and these gulfs leading to other worlds. It is an ordered yet chaotic reality, governed by its own strange set of physical and spiritual laws.
And his first real hurdle comes pretty quickly in Chapter 2, the Zoogs of the Enchanted Wood.
That's right. The woods beyond the initial steps are filled with these small, dark, sharp-nosed creatures. Now, they look physically small, but their threat is genuine and quite visceral.
Why is that?
They know many secrets of the dream world and the waking world, but, and this is the kicker, they are somewhat partial to human flesh. They've developed a definite predatory taste.
Oh, lovely. Not just mischievous sprites, then.
Definitely not cute fantasy creatures, no. They represent the persistent, kind of low-level dangers you find everywhere in the dreamlands. But the most important event in this chapter is actually Carter's demonstration of his strength and resourcefulness. He uses negotiation. Well, when he first confronts the Zoogs, he finds them surprisingly timid. The sources imply they are actually frightened of him, which suggests he either carries some unseen protection or maybe his reputation as a powerful dreamer precedes him even here.
Interesting. So he doesn't have to fight them.
No, he doesn't fight. He successfully bargains for safe passage and, crucially, for information. He trades his safety for knowledge.
Smart move. What does he learn?
He confirms that the way to gain insight into the gods is to seek out the old priest Atul in the city of Ulthar. Atul is reputed to be the only man who has actually seen the Earth's gods dancing on the mountaintops.
Okay, so that's his next lead, a specific person in a specific place.
Exactly. And it's a turning point because Carter uses his intellect and maybe his reputation rather than just blind force to advance his quest.
That intelligence leads him straight to Ulthar then, and to this conversation detailed in Chapter 3, the tale of Barzai the Wise and Mountain Grenek.
Right. He meets Atul, who is now an old priest, and Atul confirms he's had direct experience with the gods. But, being wise, Atul immediately offers a very heavy warning by recounting a cautionary tale.
The classic, let me tell you a story about someone who tried that approach.
Precisely. He tells the chilling fate of Barzai the Wise. Barzai was this man of immense human wisdom who decided he was going to climb Mount Hathakla to see the Earth's gods dancing by moonlight.
Sounds ambitious.
Very. And the point of the story is Barzai's arrogance, his hubris. He completely ignored all the warnings, claiming his vast knowledge made him greater than the Earth's gods. He believed their spells and defensive barriers were, trivial to him.
Never ends well, that kind of thinking.
Never. The key action, or rather the horrifying consequence here, confirms the limitations of moral intellect when faced with the truly divine or cosmic. Barzai reached the summit, apparently shouted wildly in some mix of terror and delight at whatever he saw.
Oh, God.
And then was just lost forever, vanished from the mountain. Poof, gone, gone. And afterward, the mountain itself had the seal of the other gods placed upon it, closing it off completely. So this story is crucial. It confirms the danger of seeking the gods directly, and really underscores that human knowledge just cannot surpass certain cosmic barriers.
It's the ultimate warning against hubris, really. Don't think you're smarter than the gods.
You got it. But again, Adol doesn't just leave Carter empty-handed. He respects Carter's determination, perhaps. He directs him toward a new destination, Mount Grinek on the Isle of Orieb.
Why there?
Adol notes that the mountain's features are quite strange, and suggests they might actually reflect the features of those who bear the blood of the gods.
Wait, like people living there might be related to the gods.
That's the implication. Adol says these locals sometimes espouse the daughters of men, meaning that some common folk might unwittingly be privy to secrets simply because of their inherited bloodlines, misunderstood even among themselves.
So the advice is complicated. Don't seek the gods directly. Seek out those who might share their bloodline, maybe unknowingly.
Exactly. It's the more subtle approach. So Carter's immediate next steps are defined. He must follow the river sky down to the great port city of Dailathleen to find sea passage to Orieb and Mountain Grinek.
All right. A new destination, a new plan. Off to Dailathleen.
And Dailathleen, which we cover in Chapter 4, represents a really crucial thematic shift, I think. This is where the more ordinary fantasy elements of the Dreamlands start to merge with the truly unsettling cosmic horror elements.
How so? What's it like?
Well, it's described as a great bustling port city, but the atmosphere is defined by this profound anxiety and these sinister whispers about certain ships. The black galleys that come from unknown shores.
Black galleys. Sounds ominous already.
Oh, it gets worse. The sources provide this magnificent, chilling description of the merchants and their ships. The vessels apparently carry enormous quantities of rubies, big ones.
Okay, valuable cargo.
Very. But the merchants themselves are described in monstrous terms. Their mouths are too wide, giving them this really unsettling appearance, and their turbans are humped up in 2 points, which is an immediate visual cue that they are definitely not standard human merchants.
Weird turbans and wide mouths. Got it. Creepy.
Plus, they wear strange shoes. And, most telling of their trade, they only accept 2 things: gold and stout black slaves. They operate entirely outside the city's normal ethical and economic networks.
So they're slavers dealing in rubies. Dark stuff.
Yeah, this is where we see the Merle darkness creeping into the Dreamlands. But maybe the most horrifying facts surround the crew of these black galleys.
The crew.
The rowers are unseen.
Unseen, like hidden below deck.
Or maybe not there in a way we understand. The implication is that whatever's powering these ships is not meant to be viewed, and perhaps isn't even truly alive in the conventional sense.
Okay, that's deeply unsettling.
And there's more. The entire vessel carries this terrible, noxious smell, like a smell of the void, perhaps, that the ships are barely tolerated by the city authorities. If they weren't the only source of these incredibly valuable rubies, they would probably be run out of the port immediately.
Wow, so the city kind of holds its nose and lets them trade.
Pretty much. Now, the key event in this chapter is Carter's attempt to leverage the port's knowledge, because it's a hub, right? And the immediate, brutal trap that follows.
What does he do?
He's still looking for info about Kadath, and he encounters this particularly suspicious trader. This trader is notorious, reputed to trade with the horrible stone villages on the icy desert plateau of Leng.
Leng! That's a huge red flag in Lovecraft, isn't it? Associated with some really bad news entities.
Massive red flag. The Leng connection elevates the danger instantly. This trader hints he has intimate knowledge of the Cold Waste and, chillingly, of the High Priest not to be described.
The one who wears the yellow silken mask? Connected to Hester.
That's the one, implying connections to Hastur and, cosmic madness. The trader suggests this priest might have had some nibbling traffic with Kadath dwellers.
Nibbling traffic, erg.
Yeah. But before Carter can fully process this or ask more questions, the trader offers him a drink, pushes him to have a drink before they talk further.
Ah, the classic have a drink, relax move before the trap springs.
Exactly. Carter must sense the instantaneous peril of this offered hospitality. And that's where the scene just breaks violently. Carter realizes he's caught, he senses the entrapment, and the scene cuts off.
So the key event here is the capture itself.
Yes. We learn later he was set up by these shadowy merchants who were allied with the darker powers, likely Nyarlathotep's agents. They subsequently transport him to the moon. This confirms the entire meeting in Dilithlene was engineered specifically to get him to facilitate a confrontation.
Wow. So much for finding passage to Oriab. He ends up on the moon.
Yeah, quite a detour.
Following that terrifying capture and unexpected trip to the moon, we get one of the great returns in Lovecraft's continuity, right? Confirming how interconnected his stories often are.
We do indeed. Let's talk about Richard Upton Pickman.
Pickman, a figure of legend within Lovecraft's world. He was that famed Boston artist whose, well, bizarrely realistic horror paintings were the subject of Pickman's model.
That's him. And in that story, he disappeared, wasn't he? Heavily implied to have transformed into one of the subterranean ghouls he painted so well.
Right. And here, the sources confirm it. He is now fully immersed in that new life, living as a ghoul, and crucially, serving as an ally who actually remembers Carter from a previous visit to Altar.
Small world, even in the Dreamlands. Their alliance is purely pragmatic, though, a true Dreamlands pact. The ghouls consider any enemy of the Zoogs a friend. Plus, they are masters of the subterranean world.
Handy friends to have when you're trapped.
Extremely. So in Chapter 5, Pickman and his ghoul brothers rescue Carter from the immediate clutches of the dark powers. A rescue that's implied to be facilitated by the Night Gaunts, who act as the ghouls' sort of air cavalry.
The Night Gaunts? Those horrible, faceless flying things?
The very same. They apparently serve the ghouls. After the rescue, Pickman explains the impossible path Carter must now take to continue his quest.
And it's not pleasant, is it?
Far from it. The only way forward without just abandoning the Dreamlands and waking up in the mundane world is through the Gug's cavern realm, the place known as the Vaults of Zin.
Gugs. They sound bad.
They are
Whoops.
colossal abominations described as hairy, gigantic beings. They used to perform sacrifices up in the Enchanted Wood before the Earth's gods got fed up and exiled them down below.
And they like human flesh, too.
Oh yes, they crave it. And their caverns are also home to these primitive, stupid creatures that violently hate the ghouls. So it's dangerous on multiple fronts.
Sounds like an underworld gauntlet. How does Carter possibly get through?
Right, so what is the crucial event that allows him to pass? It's Pickman's expert strategic guidance, his knowledge of the terrain, and the use of a key piece of supernatural defense. The Great Stone Trapdoor.
Ah, trap.
A huge one. Apparently the Gugs are terrified of this enormous door because of some ancient curse laid upon it. So Pickman, confirmed now as the resourceful ghoul leader, leads Carter and his ghoul allies through the caverns while the Gugs are conveniently asleep.
Timing is everything.
Absolutely. And specifically, Pickman directs Carter to the exit via the central tower, which bears the critical sign of Koth.
What's the sign of Koth?
It's a symbol that apparently wards against non-human entities and marks the stairs that lead upward and out of the caverns. This sign is like a physical marker of safety and progress in this terrifying landscape. The whole escape is only possible because of this alliance with the ghoul underground.
Incredible. Pickman really comes through.
He does. And upon exiting this terrifying underworld, Carter receives a new form of, well, high-level protection, showing his status in the Dreamlands is definitely rising.
Who meets him?
He is met immediately by the famous Cats of Ulthar.
The cats. From the story where nobody is allowed to kill a cat in Ulthar.
Those very cats. They offer him an escort to the distant city of Celephus. Apparently, the news of his new alliance with the cats travels fast throughout the Dreamlands, which speaks volumes about the diplomatic weight of having these creatures on your side.
Having the cats on your side matters. I like that.
It seems to. The cats themselves are described as highly sensitive creatures of the Dreamlands. They note that the regions ahead, particularly Inquinoc, where Carter was originally heading, hold shadows and a hint of outer space that they really detest.
So they can sense the cosmic wrongness.
It seems so.
Yeah.
They suggest they are sensitive to the encroaching chaos. So they are willing to escort him as far as Celephus, which seems to be a boundary of relative safety before the truly cosmic territory begins.
Okay, so Celephus is the next stop with a feline escort.
The quest now brings Carter to this beautiful golden city of Celephus and, well, a much-needed council with an old friend from the waking world.
An old friend. Oh.
This is King Karanis, whom Carter recognizes by his waking world name, Eli. Karanis achieved, like, the ultimate dream goal. He entered the Dreamlands years ago and successfully attained true monarchy there.
Wow. So he made it. He's living the dream, literally.
You'd think so. But Karanis is actually a fascinating and profoundly sad character study. He rules the majestic Palace of 70 Delights and this incredible cloud castle, yet he is utterly existentially bored.
Bored? With a cloud castle.
Apparently so. He achieved the permanent fantasy and found it to be, well, monotonous. He's desperately homesick for the waking world, for Cornwall specifically.
Homesick for reality while living in paradise. That's ironic.
Deeply ironic.
Yeah.
And our sources highlight that this longing manifests in remarkable ways. He's gone to the lengths of rearing a great Norman abbey nearby, modeled on his memories, and employing citizens specifically with the most English faces, who apparently take lessons just to learn the perfect English accent of his youth.
That detail is incredibly telling, isn't it?
It really is.
Yeah.
It shows that even eternal paradise, limitless power, and constant beauty cannot satisfy the human need for the finite, cherished details of memory and maybe limitation.
So in Chapter 6, Coronis' warning in Celiphas, he must have some advice for Carter.
Oh, he does, and it's some of the most profound advice in the entire novel. Remember, he's a monarch now, and through his elevated position, he's learned much about the other gods. He was specifically warned by some entity described as the violet gas Sigok, never to approach the central void where Azathoth and Nyarlathotep reside.
So he knows the dangers firsthand, or at least secondhand, from a reliable source.
Exactly. Karanis provides the human perspective on that cosmic warning Carter got earlier. He tells Carter that the marvelous sunset city he's seeking may not actually hold the genuine emotional content he truly seeks.
What does he mean?
This is the heart of his advice. He states he would gladly resign the whole of my power, luxury, and freedom for one blessed day back in his youth in Cornwall, because the permanent luxury of the Dreamlands was ultimately monotonous compared to the fleeting feelings and memories that shaped his childhood.
Wow, so the King of Paradise would trade it all for a memory.
That's what he says. So the crucial event of this chapter is really this thematic insight. Karanis reveals that seeking a permanent material paradise might ultimately fail to satisfy. He urges Carter to accept the Sunset City as a glorious and half-remembered dream. He makes Carter question the entire premise of the quest by placing sentimental memory and nostalgia above physical achievement. The quest, he implies, might be misdirected.
That's heavy. Did Carter listen?
Well, Carter is still Randolph Carter. He's obsessed he must pursue his dream. Seeing Carter's unwavering resolve, Karanis perhaps resignedly gives him actionable but secret instructions for continuing the quest while trying to avoid the known paths and potential traps, like the one he just fell into.
Okay, so what's the secret plan?
Carter must return to the old seawall and wait for a specific dark ship arriving from Inquinoc. He is advised to pose as an onyx miner to gain passage.
An onyx miner? Why?
Because the plan relies on exploiting the fact that the strange-faced men of Inquinoc have the blood of the Great Ones in them. They are therefore inherently dangerous, but perhaps susceptible to a direct approach if the ruse is good enough and plays into their own interests, which involve onyx.
Risky but clever. Playing into their nature.
Exactly. A new secret path forward.
Following Karanis' secret advice, Carter travels towards Inquinoc then. This cold, twilight realm, unsettling, known to be sensitive to cats. The place that holds shadows.
That's right. He seeks this specific unused onyx quarry, which is described as greater than all the rest, famous because the blocks hewn from it are said to strike terror into beholders. Hints at their unsettling, maybe non-Euclidean origins.
Okay, creepy onyx. This brings us to Chapter 7, the climax, doesn't it?
It really does. The key action here, which we sort of foreshadowed, the trap, is Carter's realization that everything was a setup. Even Karanis' advice, perhaps unintentionally, led him here.
How so?
Carter realizes the merchants back in Dialyslene, the ones allied with the darker powers, were following instructions all along. They captured him and took him to the moon, which seems to be a common staging ground for Nyarlathotep's operations, involving Earth, or the Dreamlands, confirming that the ultimate confrontation with the crawling chaos was planned from the very start.
So even getting rescued by Pickman, getting advice from Karanis, it was all part of the path Nyarlathotep wanted him on.
It seems highly likely. Or at least Nyarlathotep was manipulating events constantly. And Carter realizes his ghoul allies, the ones sent to help him after the moon incident, were likely killed by those black galley merchants. They never returned.
Oh, man. That's bleak.
It is. After being rescued again, this time by the Night Gaunts directly, who served Nyarlathotep sometimes, confusingly, Carter is forced to part ways with Pickman and his remaining allies. The path now leads him, alone, directly to the inevitable confrontation he had been trying so desperately to navigate around.
He can't avoid it anymore.
No. And this is a profound payoff for the entire long journey. The revelation of Nyarlathotep, the entity who delivered that initial terrifying warning back in Chapter 1, reveals its true identity, speaking directly to Carter. I am Nyarlathotep, the crawling chaos.
So the big reveal, the puppet master steps out.
Exactly. This entity, the messenger, and some say the soul of the outer gods, warns Carter to beware of meeting him in his 1,000 other forms, always shifting, always manipulating.
Terrifying. But then comes the real twist, right?
Oh, yes. Then comes the truly shocking truth, the absolute climactic discovery that just flips the entire narrative completely on its head. Nyarlathotep reveals that Earth's gods, the ones Carter thought were on Kadath, well, they've abandoned their traditional throne atop unknown Kadath.
Abandon it. Where did they go?
They have collectively gone to live in Carter's Sunset City.
What? The city he's been looking for. The gods are already there.
Already there, living it up. The entire premise of the quest to seek the gods to find the city was completely backward. The gods found his city first.
That is incredible. The gods went on vacation to Carter's perfect memory.
Pretty much.
Yep.
Nyarlathotep explicitly warns Carter, tells him to send back Earth's gods, stressing that their absence does not bode well for the Dreamlands because their protective presence is critical for maintaining cosmic order.
So Carter inadvertently caused a cosmic imbalance by dreaming too well.
In a way, yes. Nyarlathotep then gives Carter the final ultimate clue to his quest's true nature. He tells Carter the way to the city is not over unknown seas, but back over well-known years.
Back through time, through memory.
Exactly. The path back, the entity confirms, is to turn back to the bright, strange visions of infancy and the quick, sun-drenched glimpses of magic from days of wonder. The whole horrific cosmological journey was simply a mechanism, perhaps, to force a psychological realization in this mortal man.
Wow. So the final key event, the ultimate destination and the emotional climax. It's internal.
It is. The Sunset City is revealed not as a single physical location, but as the aggregated sum of everything Carter saw and loved as a child. It is the memory of his wistful youth.
So what is it, specifically?
It is described poetically as the glory of Boston's hillside roofs and western windows aflame with sunset, combined with the idealized, crystallized memories of beloved specific New England places. Salem, Marblehead, Providence, Newport, Kingsport, and Arkham, all mashed together into one perfect image.
All his favorite places rolled into one dream city.
Exactly. This is the genius of the resolution. Carter's intense nostalgic desire for the innocent wonder of his youth was so powerful, so intensely focused, that it literally created a localized mortal paradise within the Dreamlands. A paradise so compelling and beautiful that even the established Earth's gods were drawn to it and decided to move in.
That's insane. His nostalgia built a heaven the gods wanted.
Right. This profound, idealized love, molded, crystallized, and polished by years of memory and dreaming, became his terraced wonder. He didn't need to find Kadath. He needed to re-access the core of his own cherished, idealized consciousness. The city was him.
It is an absolutely incredible twist. The entire epic journey. All those dangers, the zoogs, the gigs, the terrifying journey to the moon, the confrontations with the crawling chaos. It was ultimately just a vehicle for Randolph Carter's psychological and nostalgic realization. The cosmos literally bent to his memory.
Absolutely. And the summary takeaways here are just profound, I think. They really elevate this work beyond mere adventure fantasy. The book explores memory, obviously, but also the danger of seeking forbidden cosmic knowledge, that ever-present threat of Azathoth lurking, and the ultimate truth that the paradise Carter sought was never really a mythical place out there, but the idealized, cherished memories residing deep within the protagonist himself.
It kind of reframes the very nature of Lovecraftian horror, doesn't it? Suggesting that the human mind, when pushed to its limits of longing or nostalgia, can create an emotional reality so potent it can even attract the attention and maybe the envy of the gods.
It certainly adds a layer of, well, human power, albeit psychological power, to the equation.
Hold on, though. I want to challenge that a bit. If Nyarlathotep, the crawling chaos, is supposed to be this god of entropy and madness and manipulation, why is he facilitating this profound psychological realization for Carter? Doesn't that make the entire cosmic horror element feel almost secondary to the human psychological state? like suggesting that even the ultimate darkness serves the dreamer's need for resolution.
That is a phenomenal question, and it really gets to the heart of the ambiguity surrounding Nyarlathotep. He is the ultimate deceiver and messenger, yes, but not purely a destroyer in the way Azathoth is. By forcing Carter to turn back and realize his true quest was internal, Nyarlathotep achieves, arguably, two things that serve his own inscrutable purposes.
Okay, what are they?
First, he gets the Earth's gods sent back to their posts on Kadath, presumably restoring some kind of cosmic balance or order that their absence was disrupting, which maybe he prefers for his own games. And second, he ensures Carter remains a dreaming, vital soul, albeit one who has brushed against the void and understands the power of his own mind.
So keeping Carter in the game.
Exactly. For Nyarlathotep, who seems to thrive on human fear, complexity, consciousness, and maybe even art, a resolved but deeply traumatized dreamer like Carter might be far more interesting, a better plaything perhaps, than a soul simply dissolved into Azathoth's mindless void. He might be using Carter's psyche for his own ongoing cosmic agenda.
Huh. That makes the ending much, much darker again. Carter finds his personal paradise, yes, but only because a cosmic entity decided his memory was strategically important for cosmic management, and maybe for future torment or manipulation.
Precisely. It's not necessarily a purely happy ending for Carter, even if he finds his city. And this leads beautifully into the final provocative thought posed by the text, one that really challenges the entire premise of the Dreamlands and is crucial for you, the listener, to maybe mull over.
Okay, what is it?
It's that question. Am I a part of your dream, or are you a part of mine? If the grandest city in the Dreamlands, the place where even the Earth's gods choose to retire, is simply the aggregated, idealized memory of one mortal man, Randolph Carter, what does that imply about the inherent fragility and subjectivity of reality itself?
Wow.
It suggests, perhaps, that the gods may be just as dependent on the persistent, sentimental consciousness of humanity on our dreams and memories as we are on their terrifying cosmic presence or indifference. Our inner worlds might shape their outer worlds.
A truly unsettling and brilliant thought to end on. The idea that our most mundane, cherished memories might actually be the linchpins holding the entire bizarre universe, or at least the Dreamlands, together. Thank you for guiding us through this amazing and frankly quite exhausting deep dive into Kadath.
My pleasure. It's an incredible journey to unpack. We'll see you next time on the D-Dive.